Annyeonghaseyo, riding on the Korean wave. Welcome to Tuesday's edition of The Culture Wave. I'm Kwon in Seoul. Explore with us Korea's culture from all aspects and stay up to date with K-entertainment, K-exhibitions, K-food, K-everything. Now today I'm joined by our co-host Walter Lee in the studio. Hello, Walter.
Hello, Seoul, like always, and hello to everyone who is watching at home. I'm Walter Lee, here to provide you with the latest in K-enter news.
Walter, yesterday before our show, or actually a few hours after our show, Kim Soo-hyun had a press conference, right?
Yeah, that's correct. And today we have more details on the remarks that he made.
Right, so let's kick off with K-enter news today and on that issue, Walter. So actor Kim Soo-hyun and his legal representatives held a press conference yesterday afternoon, Monday local time, regarding the allegations that he dated late actress Kim Sae-ron when she was a minor. So could you give us the details of the press conference?
Yes, obviously this is something that the public have been waiting for. On Monday at 4:30 p.m. Korea time, Kim Soo-hyun stood in front of the media to attempt to clear his name of the allegations surrounding his relationship with actress Kim Sae-ron, who took her own life in mid-February of this year. Now, this was the first appearance that Kim Soo-hyun had made since the allegations were made on by a YouTube channel earlier in March. Now, alongside the dating allegations were allegations that there was pressure from Kim Soo-hyun's agency, gold medalist, for Kim Sae-ron to pay back a loan that she allegedly owed the agency or the company. Now, in a tearful statement to the media, Kim Soo-hyun said something to the effect of, "I refuse to admit to something I did not do." Kim, however, did admit to dating Kim Sae-ron 5 years ago, for around 1 year when she was of the legal age. Now, regarding social media conversations between him and Kim Sae-ron, which were leaked by the family of Kim Sae-ron, the late actress Kim Sae-ron, Kim Soo-hyun claimed that these messages were in fact fabricated. Now, his agency has also filed a lawsuit which the court has accepted, seeking 12 billion Korean won, which is just over $8 million in damages against the bereaved family of Kim Sae-ron and the operator of the YouTube channel that disclosed these sort of claims.
Well, this will not be the last time that we talk about this issue, so please keep us updated, Walter.
Will do.
Now, moving on to a lighter note, this
Yes.
time it's news on K-pop girls, or maybe I should say women.
Yes, so on Saturday, K-pop girl group aespa and also Blackpink's Jennie took home trophies at the Billboard Women in Music Awards 2025, which honors influential female musicians held in Los Angeles. Now, girl group aespa received Group of the Year award. The members of aespa shared their thoughts, saying aespa supports all women who are chasing their dreams, and we hope everyone gets the opportunity to fully realize their potential. Now, Jennie was honored with what's called the Global Force Award. Now, this award is given to females in the music industry who have made a significant impact. Jennie is the first K-pop solo artist to receive an award at this ceremony.
Wow.
So this is great news.
Great news. So congratulations to aespa and also Jennie. They are probably a huge inspiration to young women out there. And we're going to stick to the topic of K-pop,
Yes.
but I guess this time it's about a tour. So who's going to grace the stage soon?
Okay, so boy group Ateez will kick off their New World Tour in Your Fantasy on July 5th and July 6th. Now at the Inspire Arena on Yeongjong-do Island in Incheon. Now following their performances at Inspire Arena, Ateez will visit cities also in the US in July, including Atlanta, New York, and actually for the first time, Baltimore, Nashville, Orlando, San Jose, and also in August, Mexico City. In September, they are scheduled to hold concerts in Saitama, Nagoya, and Kobe in Japan as well. Now, in Your Fantasy, North American tickets expect to go on sale from April 10th at 10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, so don't miss out.
Well, great news for the Ateez out there. And when you said that this is called In Your Fantasy, for a moment I thought, oh, it's a tour just in our fantasy.
Yes, yes, not real.
I'm glad that they're physically going to be at these many places.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much, Walter, for those updates, and don't go anywhere.
I won't go anywhere.
And now it's time for our AI anchor, Ari, to bring us some more culture news here in Korea. Ari, take it away.
Hello and welcome to your AI guide to the latest cultural updates from Korea. Here's our top story. The number of foreign tourists visiting Korea last month exceeded 1.1 million, reaching 94% of pre-COVID-19 levels. This represents an increase of roughly 10% compared to the same month last year. The largest group of tourists came from China, followed by Japan, Taiwan, and the United States. Chinese tourists numbered around 341,000, or about 75% of the 2019 level, while Japanese visitors surpassed pre-pandemic figures, reaching 224,000. Tourists from Africa and the Middle East recovered to 111% of the 2019 level, and visitors from Europe and the US reached 106%. Masterpieces of Jongseon. The founder of True View landscape painting during the Joseon era will be showcased at the Hoam Art Museum in Yongin from Wednesday. The exhibition, the largest ever dedicated to the artist, brings together a comprehensive collection of Jongseon's famous works, including his renowned Kumgangjeondo and Annyeonghaseyo, both designated as national treasures. His works vividly capture the beauty of Korea's landscapes, standing as invaluable assets in the history of Korean art. Under the rare collaboration by Hoam and Kansong Art Museum, the exhibition features over 160 pieces of Jongseon's diverse range of works gathered from various institutions and private collections. They'll be on display at the Hoam Art Museum until June 26th and move to the Daegu Kansong Art Museum next year, marking the 350th anniversary of Jongseon's birth. Chuncheon will host a city tour program for foreign students attending local universities in the city from April 4th to 17th. The program includes visits to popular tourist attractions such as the Gangcheon Rail Park and Nami Island, and also provides other opportunities to explore the city's unique urban culture and natural surroundings. The tour, designed for around 200 participants, is part of government efforts to encourage students to remain in Chuncheon after graduation, find employment, and grow into key talents for the region. That's all from me. Keep it tuned to the Culture Wave.
Paik Nam-june is a world-renowned artist considered a pioneer of video art. Though many in Korea and abroad may recognize his name, his works may not immediately come to mind. Ahead of the 20th anniversary of Paik's death next year, various exhibitions have been organized to commemorate the groundbreaking artist. Jin tells us more.
On New Year's Day of 1984, the first international satellite art installation was presented by Korean-American artist Paik Nam-june. Setting out to counter George Orwell's depressing portrayal of television in the novel 1984, the live broadcast of the satellite art production from New York was simultaneously aired in Korea, and the live broadcast from Paris was also aired in real time to Germany. Featuring pop music videos, dance, and video art, the piece, called Good Morning, Mr. Orwell, combined live and taped segments along with TV graphics designed by Paik himself. The breakthrough attempt of its time was an astounding success, reaching an audience of over 25 million viewers worldwide. Painting with his hair, or dragging a violin through the streets, then setting it on fire, Paik Nam-june broke stereotypes with his eccentricity. Paik's robot K456, first displayed in 1964, was his first work that took shape of a robot, which opened questions of humanity amid advancing technology.
He was an artist that suggested how new technology could change the world. Above all, he made such predictions from such a euphoric and optimistic perspective.
Paik Nam-june shifted away from the traditional ideas and pioneered a new genre called video art by breaking down the boundaries between technology and art. In the 1970s, when black and white analog TVs were still the norm, Paik was ahead of his time, as if he had an insight into the hyper-connected era we live in today.
The most internationally famous K-culture content before Psy was that of Paik Nam-june. As a future-thinking artist, he very insightfully showed how society would change with the development of technology and what the roles of artists in communication will be in that world.
Efforts to display Paik Nam-june's journey have been underway for years. And for this year, the first was an exhibition at the Museum of Contemporary Art Busan that ended on March 16th. It was the largest exhibition since Paik's death and was visited by 122,000 visitors. The Nam-june Paik Art Center continues to hold events and exhibitions to showcase the artist's experimental mindset. Many are interested to see how Paik Nam-june's ideas were realized with the help of his collaborators.
The role that Beck played was like the conductor of an orchestra. Under his direction were very, very talented collaborators who came together to produce these projects, and their passion and efforts have been documented.
The Play It Again Paik exhibition will feature recordings of his past interviews. It will open on April 10th at the Nam-june Paik Art Center and run into next year. The 2023 film titled Nam-june Paik, The Moon is the Oldest TV is screening at the National Museum of Modern and Contemporary Art as part of its Moment of Creation, The Artist's Studio, a collection of 8 films that show artists creating new works. This program will run until May 24th. 이은진, Arirang News.
The globalization of Koreans' comfort food kimbap was recently introduced in the Washington Post. Today, we will have a talk about how K-food has made it to the global mainstream with someone who, in that article, mentioned that the rising popularity of the seaweed rice roll is partly due to the success of a certain K-drama. We are now connected with Robert Koo, managing editor of a major textbook project at the UCLA Asian American Studies Center. Hello, Mr. Koo.
Hello, Mr. Koo.
Hello, how are you?
We're good. Thank you very much for joining us on the program. Now, Mr. Koo, you wrote that the 2022 Korean series Extraordinary Attorney Woo, one of my favorite dramas, worked as a catalyst in spreading the global kimbap boom. So how much influence does Korean content have on the rise of Korean food items?
Yeah, I would say it has a tremendous level of influence. In fact, the influence that Korean content, especially K-dramas, had on the rise of the global popularity of Korean food began long before Extraordinary Attorney Woo. I would say that the first K-drama that focused on food that had a significant global audience was Daejangum, or Jewel in the Palace in 2003. Of course, this was at the very start of what we consider the Korean wave in the late 1990s. And Daejangum then was followed by many other K-dramas that feature food, which the viewers then themselves try to consume after watching the dramas. To scratch the surface, I would cite My Lovely Samsoon in 2005, King Baker Kim Tak-gu 2010, Pasta in 2010, Bar Boy Ramen Shop 2011, and of course, Shiksapsida or Let's Eat, all three seasons, 2013, 15, and 2018, all had, I think, great influence in the way that global audiences perceive Korean food as something desirable. My personal favorite drama of all time is Coffee Prince in 2007, and which of course coincided with the growth of Starbucks-style coffee in Korea. And I have to mention, of course, Descendants of the Sun in 2016, which many Chinese viewers, after watching, sought out samgyetang. And I believe it led to some 4,000 Chinese tourists to come to the Bampo Hangang Park in Seoul to consume samgyetang altogether. And lastly, I would mention, My Love from the Stars, starring Kim Soo-hyun, who is, of course, under some crisis right now. This drama popularized chimek, chicken and beer, globally due to Chun Ji-yeon's character devouring with gusto. And this is just to scratch the surface of the effect that Korean drama has had on Korean food.
Right, you're bringing back so many memories because I haven't thought of Daejangum right before the show, but so many dramas that were very big before OTT platforms actually were big. And that's why I guess dramas like Attorney Woo now are spreading more of these K-food items, although already these K-foods were out there due to these Daejangum, Kim Samsoon, and Coffee Prince, etc.
That's correct, that's correct. And so basically what you're saying, Mr. Gu, is that K-food is a really big thing now here in the US, right?
Yes, absolutely. And so more recently in the US, I would say it has been reality and variety programming that has the country drooling over Korean food, with Netflix playing a major role. The Korean Food Rhapsody series starring Baek Jung-won. There was one on kimchi, one on hanwoo or Korean beef, on naengmyeon, on samgyeopsal, on gukbap, fried chicken. These all set the table for the arrival of, most recently, Culinary Class Wars, which was, I think, an absolute game changer. Because all of people I know, everyone has seen that. And not to be outdone, Amazon Prime, a rival streaming service, aired 2 seasons of Yoon's Kitchen in 2017 in Indonesia, 2018 in Spain, which took place in those countries, followed by 2 seasons of Jin's Kitchen in 2013 and 2023 and 2024 in Mexico and Iceland, which features some of the biggest names in K-drama and K-pop, including the Oscar winner Yoo Yo-jung, along with the Seo-jin, Jang Yoo-mi, Park Seo-joon, Kim Chae-woo-sik, Ko Min-si, and of course, Kim Taehyung V of BTS. They were all in this program. And so combined, these variety programs, cooking competitions and so forth, along with K-dramas, have really brought Korean food to the airwaves here in the US.
So it really looks like the modern contents do play a big role here. Now, we also want to talk about an interesting interview you had with CNN a couple of years ago. You mentioned that Spam has undergone a reputation makeover because Asian and Asian American chefs reintroduced the canned lunch meat. So tell us more about Spam and K-food and also other food items that are receiving similar revivals.
Yeah, Spam's an interesting example because in the US, Spam in the mainstream is seen as a kind of a joke. A lot of people make fun of it. It's considered to be very trashy, very low status. And so when many Asian Americans, the Pacific Islanders, consume Spam, it's seen as quite odd. But as you know, in Korea, it's not odd to consume Spam. And I would say that among all these so-called celebrity chefs that have become famous in the US in the past 10 or 15 years, Korean American chefs has really stood out. Of course, most notably David Chang, Roy Choi, Kristen Kish, Esther Choi, and of course, Edward Lee, who was the breakout star of Culinary Class Wars. Despite coming in second, I think he was robbed, by the way. He should have won. All of these chefs, because they grew up in the US, have embraced ingredients like Spam that might have been seen as a joke to most Americans, but they are elevating it to a whole different audience in their really amazing restaurants. Yeah. And also, these chefs have no problem highlighting other Korean products, especially kimchi, gochujang, and even doenjang is making its presence known in all these restaurants, Korean or otherwise.
Yes, I'm seeing a lot of it in a lot of cooking shows as well. I love to watch cooking shows and they're adding a lot of Korean ingredients. Now, let's talk about it from a Korean immigrant's point of view. What is it like to experience K-food in the US, and what does K-food mean to Koreans living abroad, do you think?
Yeah, I think it depends on your generation, your age, your class, your background, and where you might have moved to as an immigrant. Certainly, in the United States, one of the largest destination of Korean immigrants, I came to the United States at the age of 8 in the early 1970s. And so, to be honest, it's a bit weird and confusing in a way, because when I immigrated to the US in the 70s, Korean food was not even on the radar of American cuisine. It was not seen as cool or delicious as it is today. Rather, Korean food was, for many Korean Americans of my age, a source of shame. Not only mainly because Korean food was seen as odd and weird, but especially because it was very smelly. As you know, Korean food, kimchi especially, can have a really strong aroma. And so that was very impossible to avoid. And so I lived most of my life avoiding Korean food with other non-Koreans because I thought it was something to be shameful. But things have changed. I have twin boys who are 17 who grew up here in the United States, but they never have to worry about the shame of Korean food because all of their friends who may not be Koreans, but they all love Korean food and they all go to get Korean food all the time. And so quite a bit has changed since 1970 compared to today.
I really have to agree with you on that, Mr. Koo, because when I was small and in Germany, I would rather have a sandwich, a European-style sandwich to eat at school instead of kimbap, even though I love kimbap. Now I would be very proud of packing out my kimbap at school. Now, our final question to you goes, some K-foods are being localized and modified, which happens a lot with foods once they make it overseas. But what's your take on that? Does this have only positive aspects or maybe also negative ones?
Yeah, I can't. Well, I would say it's better to focus on the positive. Negatives, I don't think it's as important at the moment. Currently, Korean food, especially bunchik type of food, is popular all over the U.S., especially big cities. Tteokbokki, mandu, kimbap, corn dogs are very famous. You know, Body Baguette is opening up everywhere. H-Marts everywhere. Korean restaurants are getting all of these Michelin guides, stars in in New York especially. But I would say that Korean food undergoes more change, perhaps in Korea, than it does in the diaspora. Simply because for many Koreans in the diaspora, in other countries, the desire is to try to recreate Korea, something Korean in their new location. And so there's a reluctance to change things. There's a protection around what's considered to be Korean culture by many Korean Americans, especially older generation. Whereas in Korea, whenever I visit, there's something new happening to Korean food, such as putting cheese on everything, which I can't understand, but it's a trend. And of course, that is not coming to here. And so, yes, everywhere food goes, no matter your background of any country, food undergoes localization and change. But I would say in the case of Korean food, I'm noticing that Korean food in Korea is making more dramatic changes than it is here in the US. And the culinary class wars, once again, it's a great example of all those amazing chefs demonstrating the incredible variety and the flexibility of Korean food. And it's only the beginning, I think. I think this has got a long way to go.
Right, that's a very interesting aspect. We're seeing so many changes actually in Korea.
Right.
But yes, I think it's great that we are seeing these K-foods spreading around the world, including in the US. We hope to talk to you again, Mr. Koo, about this topic. Thank you very much for sharing your story and insights with us today.
Thank you, Mr. Koo.
Thank you. Had a good time. Thank you.
And thank you, Walter. As always, I'm going to see you back here tomorrow.
See you very soon.
Thank you for spending the past half an hour with us on the Culture Wave. Please join us again tomorrow on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Korea time and maybe one day here in Korea.